So the other day I posted a video with Kyokai talking about why I think Towa and Mira would be the best villains to usurp Broly if Dragon Ball Super were to ever come back. And really, ever since that video, I just cannot get it out of my head. These two, at least in my opinion, are incredibly perfect, and I really think I have a fantastic introduction to them as characters in the return of Dragon Ball Super. So, hope you guys enjoy the little pitch. Let's get to it. Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on these social media platforms. Enjoy the video. Okay, so if you've already watched the video, I'm just going to briefly recap what I said there and how I would really like to introduce them at the very beginning. First off, this would be something that happens at the very end of Dragon Ball Super Broly, after Broly is either taken care of or he kind of goes off into the sunset. We're not really sure whether they're going to kill him off or not, but one thing I would love is because we believe that Bardock is going to be introduced into Dragon Ball Super, we're going to get the whole Dragon Ball minus Bardock and Gine actually taking Goku and sending him off to Earth, that entire storyline from Toriyama. But I think it represents a great opportunity to actually introduce the Masked Saiyan. So during the movie, one thing we see is Bardock sends Goku away in order to go to Earth, and we get to see Planet Vegeta be destroyed. Mid-credit stinger of Dragon Ball Super Broly, so it doesn't really butt up with anything happening in the movie, is Towa and Mira show up just after Bardock and Gine send Goku away, and they just have a smile to the camera, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Because we all know what that would be leading up to, right? The Masked Saiyan, Bardock being a main character going forward. But you have to kind of go back and figure out how they came here and why they are actually going to go up against Goku, Vegeta, all of the Saiyans, and everything else. So just a little recap on Towa's character. She is from the Demon Realm. She's a scientist. She created Mira in order to be the strongest genetic warrior ever, escape the Demon Realm, and is definitely on a warpath through the timelines just to kill all the Saiyans and kind of rule over the universe, in this case the multiverse. And I think it would be really kind of awesome to once again bring back the Red Ribbon Army. So as I've said in other videos, and I'm sure a lot of people would just kind of break this down in general and realize that the Red Ribbon Army have had a really big impact in the Dragon Ball story. They were a main story element in Dragon Ball. They had an entire arc to themselves. They had the whole Cell and Android things, another arc to themselves in Dragon Ball Z, and they even had Super 17 in Dragon Ball GT, but they weren't anywhere to be seen in Dragon Ball Super. We need to bring them back. They're a staple to this, and we need to figure out a way for them to be relevant again. Why not just have a couple of fringe people from the Red Ribbon Army still working on a way to beat Goku? I know it kind of seems a little redundant. Maybe it's not to beat Goku, maybe it's just to get some technological advances out there, and they're not really even antagonists anymore. They just have various ideas of what they can do scientifically, but they actually end up creating a machine that breaks open the dimensions and breaks into the Demon Realm, allowing Towa to actually escape the Demon Realm with Mira in tow, be it in an egg form or just himself, and they actually strike up a deal with the Red Ribbon Army in order to get back at Goku, because as I said, Towa is actually not okay with the Saiyans anymore either, and this movie is going to give us a huge idea of who the Saiyans are, where they come from, and maybe even why Towa actually hates them. You know, maybe if we get a little bit more backstory into the Saiyan mythology and heritage, maybe they did fight the demons in some point of the past. We're not really sure what's going on there. So this would be a fantastic opportunity to reintroduce the Red Ribbon Army, reintroduce Towa and Mira into the main canon of the story, and then also drive the plot going forward with time machines and everything else. I don't really know how they're going to be jumping around in time. Maybe Towa and Mira, you could just have them have that power, like kind of like what they do in the Dragon Ball Xenoverse games, or maybe you can play off the fact that the Red Ribbon Army was watching during the Future Trunks stuff and they got notes telling them how to make time machines, and that's how Towa goes from, you know, various different timelines collecting all of these fighters. The perfect thing I think for their characters is kind of play off the Xenoverse games and allow us to reintroduce a lot of the old villains from the past. Maybe Cell, Zamasu, maybe even Frieza from a different timeline, certain people from the Red Ribbon Army, Piccolo, Daimao, all these other antagonizing forces that we've seen throughout the series, and maybe even give not only Goku and Vegeta, but also Gohan, Trunks, Goten, Tenshinhan, Krillin, all of our characters throughout Dragon Ball, something to fight against. You know, really build up their characters through the fights that they have to have with these people. It would be awesome to see Goku and Vegeta actually have to fight Nappa and Raditz again, right? This would be an amazing situation. Plus, it would allow us to kind of go back to the whole future Trunks past thing, where we have to kind of explain the time rings and why time travel is taboo, and actually get all the gods in the multiverses into this. You know, they cannot hide the fact that they're breaking the timeline this much anymore, so everyone is going to go in and be like, hey, we understand what's going on, how are we going to help, or how are we going to fix this situation when we have Towa and Mira just kind of all over the place trying to break apart the timelines, trying to rule over the multiverse, and Zeno can get involved, future Zeno can get involved, the Grand Priest, and maybe even introduce some of those people with higher power levels than anyone else. This would be a fantastic introduction, a way to get the Red Ribbon Army back, a way to get Towa and Mira into the story, and also reintroduce some of the fan favorite characters. Give us a reason to come back to Dragon Ball Super. Give us a reason to be like incredibly excited for this arc, you know? This is the grand arc that they're going to introduce everyone, builds up tension, maybe even breaks down the multiverse a little bit, creates tension against other multiversal gods or anything else like that, and really thrust us into another story arc. Guys, what are your thoughts on this? Do you like the idea of tying Towa and Mira to the Red Ribbon Army, having them opening up some kind of dimension to the Demon Realm, have Towa escaping, Mira coming in, going through the timelines, getting Bardock, Piccolo, Daimao, Cell, and everyone else that you can think of in order to fight everyone, breaking up the timelines, getting all the other gods involved, and just simply setting up an amazing future for Dragon Ball Super? This, I think, would be the best idea, but hopefully, you know, they're probably not going to do it because they don't really like Towa and Mira. They don't like putting in game characters into the main continuity of the show, but they're amazing antagonists, and I would really like to see them fleshed out in a television series. Another thing that they can do is, even if they do defeat Towa and Mira sometime down the line, they can actually introduce Fu, their child, sometime in the future of Dragon Ball Super. So these two antagonists, Towa and Mira, not only introduce one good arc into the series, but they inevitably introduce another one with their son sometime down the line. There is a lot of great story potential with these three characters, and I would really like to see them explore it. Hope everyone has a good day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. It's been real.